Not every geek with a Commodore 64 can hack into NASA.
This one's dedicated to all the hackers. Yo, even out, settle scores quick. My disaster recovery requires even more discs. Put your bytes up, prove it or you forfeit. Got my C64 and we blew it into orbit. M Bison with 8 straight perfects.
What's up guys, SpartaChris here, and this video I'm going to be talking about is going to be going over Warrior Mage Pally and the power of swaps, and how strong it is when you just try to control the game, communicate CC, and CC doesn't have to be a bunch of sheeps, and how strong it is when you succeed. And I'm actually going to show you an example on my third game of how it goes awry and how it goes sideways when you don't succeed at good cross CC, good communication. We actually miscommunicate a lot at that last game, and also I'm going to talk about how you can fix that as well. And I got some decent MMR games here. A few weeks into the season, around 2150, just shy of 2200. It's not not too great, not too terrible. These teams are actually playing pretty well for that, and so I wanted to show you guys as you're coming mid-season into season 1, how you can be successful. So initially the idea is we're going to kill the hunter. We're going to kill the hunter and CC the healer. So I don't even want to get off my mount. I just go in, get into a really good position. Hodge goes out a little bit early for me, but I do like it, especially because I really want to get War Banner first. I didn't want to get War Banner on Hodge, and there it is. War Banner comes out, counter shot. Also got juked. I tried to half poly into stop, and now I could have gotten a poly pretty quick, but I decided to hold it and try to get free cooldowns with a greater pyroblast, which I do. I get Stormbolt right there, but I see a full trap on my healer, so I trinket, but I don't temp right away, which is a bad play on my part. I decide to ring to force pummel and then get my poly, and then I temp. I should have, just an important note, I should have temped immediately. If you decide to trinket, it's really good practice to always do something with your trinket, whether it's a Frost Nova, a Blink, a Dragon's Breath, or in this case it should have been a trinket temp into ring into poly. But now I'm looking passively. I'm trying to get rid of this Basilisk on me, doing a lot of damage. I Ring of Frost it successfully. We pull wings from the Paladin, which I think is really good considering I didn't get a second sheep on them, and they're actually getting good damage on us. So we get a nice strong cooldown there, and then I get bopped, and now I get that sheep with no stops. I believe even that warrior tried to Stormbolt me in here. Because of my greater pyroblast with no stops with the bop up, it gets my trinket, trinket from the Holy Paladin pretty early because he's trying to heal through it. So that was really good. Good bop from my healer. Another Hodge goes out and allows us to keep going, keep getting cleave pressure. They're together. I drop a meteor. I'm just doing a lot of damage. We get a Stormbolt, which gets trinket from the hunter because he is scared about that damage. We also get sacrifice right there from the Paladin because he knows that a lot of that he's trying to recover from all of that. We swap to the warrior, and we're bringing them all down. Look at that. Pally's about to hit 50%. Everybody else is lower than that. Sack actually ends, and my warrior's looking at swapping right back to the hunter. I'm trying to take a little bit less damage. Roar Sack is on, but we pulled deterrence on the hunter, even because the healer, with no wings, he wasn't able to recover everybody. And now because of deterrence, I get freedom. I spell steal it, and I'm kiting this warrior because of it. Because I have no interest in going right now. I want my healer to get a little breathing room. And then I try to DB sheep, which I made a bad play. He kicked me immediately. I was gonna blink poly it, and he Stormbolts me on the Ring of Frost. But again, my warrior is doing a good chunk of the damage, which forces a sack right there. Hodge goes out on the pally. He probably saw it coming, so he sacked that, and I'm forced into my ice block right here. But that's not bad. We're a couple minutes into the game, not a bad block. My pally, my warrior actually defensively fears there to keep going on the pally, on their pally, so my healer doesn't get too much pressure. Forces his bubble, and you'll see him. He just goes right back to the hunter with a Stormbolt and just doing a bunch of damage. I'm trying to kite this warrior's Blade Storm, not going too well. And Bop goes out on the hunter, and I spell steal it. 6 seconds left on it, and I'm like, hey, I got another blessing of protection. I'm gonna free cast this Greater Pyro right here. I could have gotten a sheep with it, decided not to. Decided to cast Greater Pyro anyway to be a little cheeky. Got him down to 5%. He feigned deaths. He's actually not dead. That was a cheeky feign death by him. I thought maybe like the Ignite and stuff would kill him anyway, but he Roar sacks himself, and I Meteor on the Pally thinking the Hunter was dead, but as he comes back up, I decide, you know what, no bubble, let's commit to the Pally, which we do, and boom, that secures the kill for us, and he actually is 100% dead this time. And just like again, I want to reiterate, you know, you can sheep more. I could have sheeped a little bit more, and I could have positioned a little bit better, but generally that's the power of what happens when you swap a lot on those affected targets, even something simple like Roar Sacrifice, and you would be surprised the amount of offensive pressure you get where you happen with that, you know. And kind of the same concept in this new game as well. We're going to have a Warrior Demon Hunter game. Same thing, we're going to be doing a lot of swaps. My goal is to really control the Demon Hunter while trying to kill the Warrior and the Resto Druid. So I initially come in, I'm just free casting Poly, just trying to kind of get him to pull back a little bit, maybe get a free kick or two in the early start of the game, because I'm really not going to be able to sheep this Resto Druid, you know, when everybody's at 100%. Warbender comes out right there, and unfortunately I don't see it fast enough, and that's Diard Trinket, or I'm sorry, Diard Stormbolt comes out from my Warrior because he didn't catch it either. We got Trinket anyway, luckily, because I think the Druid was just generally scared, but because of that, we swap, you know, the Druid's running around, so I decide to swap with the Warrior, to the Warrior with my Warrior, getting some pressure on him until the, you know, Druid comes back into a nice spot. We actually do, you know, eventually kill Warbanner, of course. And right now I get a double Nova, both DPS, and I walk away from them after I get kicked on that Ring of Frost. And with them still in Nova, I walk away a little bit, and I free cast as my healer gets this full Hodge on the Resto Druid. We get really good pressure there on just one Hodge. We try to steal our Stormbolt as well, and you get an Iron Bark from him from both those stuns. And now I'm just trying to control the Demon Hunter and passively damage him a little bit. I did Klepto the Druid around that time. I should have saved him for this Warrior. He has 2 hots on him, but we could have gotten way more pressure on him with those 2 hots. I mean, they're not saving him. He still died by the swords right here, but we could have got him even lower. But we pull Tree Form as well. Druid decides to Tree Form. And we decided to hold our fear early this game because we were going the Druid anyway. So without Trinket, he gets a full fear. That's we get a Demon Hunter Trinket right there, full fear from the Druid. Unfortunately, we don't get a crazy amount of pressure on it, but we do get the Demon Hunter Trinket, so it'll be good for peeling him a little bit later when we are looking at a worse spot. I highlight the Fireball cast in the Ring of Frost. I'll explain that in a little bit. I Klepto these hots. I actually Klepto appropriately. We get a Ring of Frost, and I actually Klepto the right way this time on the Warrior. So now I'm looking at trying to sheep this Demon Hunter, and I juke his kick, try to sheep him full. I get stunned instead. You know, Fell Eruption is just ridiculous sometimes. But I full sheep him now. Finally, I try to kick the Druid, but to no avail. This is probably the 3rd time I've gotten juked since I started this video, and now I'm still passively damaging this Warrior. My healer actually pushed in right there, way across the map with my Warrior, and they get a full Hodge right there, no Trinket, and Reverse Magic was used on the Ring of Frost. So now we're looking at getting really good pressure on that. We get Bark Skin there, and it doesn't show up, but he does have Iron Bark as well. I Klepto those hots because I only saw the Bark Skin, but with a DR Bolt coming out, we see that he was also Iron Barked as well. So I could have probably saved Klepto again, but either way, it's still great to get those double Barks. And now I'm trying to control the Demon Hunter again, and I'm trying to hit this Warrior up top with no Barks and no hots. I'm also trying to make sure that my Paladin only has to deal with the Warrior damage, so I'm trying to keep this Demon Hunter down there a little bit low and not damaging me. So, you know, you always want to try to keep your healer, as you know, cooldowns will happen, but keep his pressure low. And now my Warrior continuing to go after him. You see him pop his cooldowns right there. He's like, he has nothing left except Trinket, but he doesn't even need a stun. He just hits him with Avatar and probably Berserking as well, and that haste really putting in a lot of work, and boom, he goes down. We secure that kill. And as far as the Ring of Frost thing, it's for the mages that don't know, it's a little cheeky trick. Is if you hard cast Fireball and then queue up your Ring of Frost right as you're casting Fireball, the Ring of Frost will actually not show up right away, and you can actually land them a lot easier. The enemy has a harder time being able to react, to move away from it or in the middle of it. So just a trick for you mages that might not be aware. And without like I said before, I got no issue showing you guys my failed game. So against Assassination Frost RMP, I'm going to show you what not to do. And hopefully you can learn from the reverse side of all of these mistakes. So initially, just a quick thing, I'm trying to get invis around the same time or after so I don't get opened on, so I can actually stop their opener. I want to put War Banner out there where it'll last long enough for either invis to come off so I can hit the mage and we can connect, or the War Banner has to be killed by somebody. So if mage or rogue comes out to kill the War Banner, they get bolted immediately, and we can stop the opener that way. So I see a sap, I call for War Banner, there it is, and it's in a good spot, so the disc has to push really far in to kill it himself, which is also what we want to avoid. And now we're waiting. Rogue comes out, DR cheap shot with the War Banner. My warrior completely stormbolts him. Looks fantastic. However, miscommunicate the Hodge. I didn't want the Hodge right then, but I try to get a ring knowing I'm going to get kicked. I try to get a poly. I could have blinked that a little faster, but I made a mistake anyway, so it was just a double mistake from both of us. Fear goes out on the mage. He wills it, and with a full cross CC and a full kidney and full fears, I decide to trinket temporal shield, and I'm trying to actually go here. I try to get his death first time, and he deathed my second poly. Again, another mistake by me. And then now they're just going ham. So now I need to try to peel this go. We get pain suppression, which is a cooldown, that's fine. I double DB here, and I'm trying to get this mage off of me. There's no kicks available, so I'm trying to spam sheep this mage, and hopefully we can rotate that onto the disc priest and get something back, but we're not going to, just FYI. Another stormbolt on the rogue, which stops me from getting kidneyed right away, but right out of that stun, you're gonna see it here. Full kidney stops my CS, full sheep goes out, and I hit about 30%, and I decide, well, time to ice block. So I hit this ice block, Master Spell gets free casted, I get out of it, and if you'll see, I had Counterspell up. I could have CS'd that second poly and allowed him to recover, and we could have went on that, but instead I decided to sheep the Disc Priest full, pretending like we're going to create counter pressure, and he trinkets it immediately, so we don't, but we get evasion from the rogue. So, you know, we are pulling cooldowns, and if we had made these cleaned up, if I had cleaned up these mistakes, we would have won this pretty much 10 seconds after I died. He vanishes. I know he's trying. He looks like he's trying to go for a re. I try to meteor him out, which is also again a bad thing by me. I could have just fire blasted him. I get cheap shotted. Cheap shot goes on the pally, and he trinkets that stormbolt. My warrior tries to stormbolt to stop the go. He saw it, but didn't know. You know, no avail. Mind control on the warrior. Full poly. Ray of Frost into me, and I still could have maybe saved myself here because I had Dragon's Breath available, and rip me. So, as a quick recap, reminder, trinket with something else. RMP will really amplify that. Communicate effectively. If I had blinked that poly better, or if he had waited a few seconds for that Hodge, that opener would have actually been successful, and it would have been a completely different story with no death, no kicks, and we would have turned that go around. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you took something out of it. Put your comments below, and as always, GG's guys.
By the way, we're not any geeks, we hack into NASA. Drink all the